Hello, welcome to a new boxing review. This is the Manny Pacquiao Juan Marquez fourth number fight. So, Manny Pacquiao and Juan Marquez obviously has got obviously probably one of the greatest current rivals in boxing obviously in my generation, and they've had 3 previous fights. The first one at featherweight in 2004 for the IBF and WBA featherweight belts. Obviously, as many people know, a lot of people know about these fights. Manny Pacquiao annihilated Marquez in the first round, knocked him down 3 times. Many people thought obviously he wouldn't get up, but obviously gradually Marquez got back into the fight and probably dominated Pacquiao for the majority of the fight, and obviously it became a controversial draw. And 4 years later, in 2008, they fought again at a super featherweight limit, this time for the WBC and Ring Magazine super featherweight belts, held by Marquez. Once again, it was a great back and forth fight, a quality fight. Again, obviously, really tight to score. It was, obviously, in my opinion, hard to score anyway because of the 2 quality fighters. Pacquiao knocking down Marquez again in the 3rd round, just the once this time. But once again, Marquez, to his credit, fought back as well, and it's just obviously just like in the first fight, probably dominated Pacquiao, and obviously not as much as in the first fight, but in the second fight, it was a bit more even in my opinion, and Pacquiao won by a point. To win obviously WBC and the Ring Magazine super featherweight belts. And the 3rd fight was in 2011 for the WBO welterweight title. So Manny Pacquiao, since obviously 2008 to 2011, went through a massive patch where he was literally virtually unbeatable, destroying the likes of Oscar De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, Antonio Margarito and Miguel Cotto. Obviously, a few of these opponents aren't obviously what they were. Obviously, Oscar De La Hoya was clearly way past his best when Manny Pacquiao fought him. Same with Ricky Hatton, got destroyed by Floyd Mayweather. Had a few other victories, but nothing really solid, and got destroyed by Manny Pacquiao. Miguel Cotto had lost to Tony Margarito a year before, damaged fighter, and obviously Tony Margarito as well. Yeah, he was a more heavier fighter, more powerful, but he had been destroyed obviously by. Well, not destroyed, but he obviously lost. Well, yeah, he got destroyed by Shane Mosley in 2009. Got banned for a whole year because of the illegal hand wraps. Nowhere near the fighter what he once was. So obviously, in that sense, Manny Pacquiao had defeated 4 good fighters, but not 4 good in the prime fighters. So anyway, when Marquez came around, he dominated Manny Pacquiao, and he should have won this fight clearly. I watched this fight a few times, and yeah, Manny Pacquiao had his spots in the fight. Obviously got some good punches in, and it was a good competitive fight. It wasn't like a whitewash, but Marquez deserved to win this fight. And through the 11th round, obviously in the break, the trainer said, I think you just say to him, "You're winning this fight." And in the 12th round, Marquez really reserved, didn't really throw any punches, and in my view, that's what lost him the fight. Yeah, obviously, I'd like to say Marquez deserved to win the fight. Clearly, he was a clear winner. But obviously, like what I said before, judges do see sometimes Manny Pacquiao obviously might have landed the more harder punches. Marquez might have threw and landed the more punches. But sometimes the judges favour harder punches thrown than obviously more punches thrown. So obviously it's a shame Marquez lost because he does deserve obviously the win. So that's why obviously the full fight was made. So in 2012, Manny Pacquiao was WBO welterweight champion. He dominated Tim Bradley in the review I've already done. I'll leave a link in the description down below. So that's for the second fight. I will have my Tim Bradley Manny Pacquiao first fight up soon. So he did dominate Tim Bradley, but somehow lost in a really highly controversial loss. So obviously Manny Pacquiao didn't have any titles on the line, but for this fight, I don't think there was any titles needed for this fight. 2 great champions, 2 great world-class fighters. Obviously coming towards the point in their careers, both of them quite obviously old now, and long careers. So in my view, I thought Manny Pacquiao had a big point to prove, and obviously he would win this fight. I don't think he was going to win by knockout, because obviously, as people know, he's knocked Marquez down 4 times over the course of 3 fights, and obviously he somehow didn't manage to get him out of there. So Marquez is a top quality, powerful fighter, really tough, and obviously he was getting on a bit. I think he was 39 years old by the time this fight came around, so he was getting on a bit. So as the fight obviously came around, I was looking for 2 things. Obviously Marquez, was he just going to go out the same way he normally does and dominate Pacquiao and try and get a decision he deserved, or was Manny Pacquiao going to go out and try and show us the old Manny Pacquiao, ferocious, aggressive, throwing combinations from all angles, the speed, the movement, try and recapture the old Pacquiao and somehow get the win. So this fight was really good because Manny Pacquiao didn't show us the old Manny Pacquiao, but he showed us a part of him, and he was winning this fight clearly. Yeah, like I said before, Marquez had obviously had patches where he did show up in the fight, and in the third round he did knock it down Manny Pacquiao for the first time in the whole course of the 4 fights. It was a heavy knockdown, really good knockdown, pinpoint right hand to the hook. There's nothing Manny Pacquiao could have done, flattened him, and to his credit he got up. Obviously Manny Pacquiao's chin hasn't really been tested that much over the course of his career. Obviously a couple of times he has, but he's come through it. So in the 4th round, Manny Pacquiao responded with a flash knockdown. Yeah, obviously Marquez was going down, but he put his hand down, so obviously it's still classed as a knockdown. So in the 5th round, obviously it was kind of like even, going back to the obviously classic sort of Marquez Pacquiao trade-off, left hand for Pacquiao, right hand for Marquez. So in the 6th round, Manny Pacquiao hurt Marquez badly with a combination. You can see Marquez really badly was in trouble. He was wobbled, and obviously he was bloodied badly. Got a cut nose. I think his blood was broken. His face was swollen. There was blood everywhere, and I thought Manny Pacquiao was going to close the show. So towards the end of the round, last 10 seconds of the 6th round, Manny Pacquiao lunged in, and obviously bad decision on his part. And Marquez followed through with a massive counter right hand to the head, flattened Manny Pacquiao right on his face, knocked out cold. The fight was over instantly. There was no way the referee was going to give him a count. So Marquez finally had the victory he deserved out of the course of the 4 fights, and knocked out Manny Pacquiao in the 6th round with a huge right hand. Probably one of the biggest knockdowns I've seen in a long while. Maybe the Sergio Martinez Paul Williams in the rematch in 2010 was a good knockdown, good one-punch knockdown. But for this one was more brutal because Manny Pacquiao didn't move, he was out of the fight, and Marquez was a damaged warrior. Obviously he was damaged, he was out on his feet probably, he was wobbled, and he somehow managed to overcome that and destroy Manny Pacquiao with one big punch. So after this fight, I was thinking, would Manny Pacquiao retire? And there was no response for a long while, and then obviously of course Manny Pacquiao did come back next year, late last year, against Brandon Rios, which he dominated. And obviously Marquez has since gone on to obviously go against Tim Bradley, which he lost unfortunately. But obviously that was his best win of his career. Yeah, there's no titles on the line, but obviously Marquez doesn't need titles to be reckoned to be obviously one of the best fighters of all time. Obviously for Mexico, it was Mexican, sorry. It was a great win, and there's no need to have a 5th fight. People are obviously still talking about it now. It could be a 5th fight. Yeah, there's a lot of money on the line, but really they don't need it. But obviously, then again, if there's a massive amount of money on the line, I don't see how they're going to say no. But there's no need for a 5th fight. Yeah, Manny Pacquiao won 2 out of the 4 fights. Quite controversial. The first one, yeah, was a draw. Could have gone either way. The second one could have gone either way. But it's how you score it. It depends how you score it, really. I scored it for Manny Pacquiao for the 2nd fight and the 1st fight, but it was really tight. The 3rd fight, Marquez won clearly, and also the 4th fight. So really, there could be a 5th fight, but obviously, in my view, there doesn't need to be. A knockout is more convincing than a decision, and obviously, there's no need to carry on with this trilogy. It's a great trilogy. You can go and watch obviously all these fights on YouTube and different obviously websites, because there's always going to be about, and there doesn't need to be a 5th fight. But they're great fights, and obviously they both deserve the recognition as top quality fighters. But Marquez has obviously ended the trilogy with a powerful, clinical, one-punch knockout to Manny Pacquiao. This has been my Manny Pacquiao Marquez 4th fight. I'll see you in my next video.